Hi friend, Lorenzo here. Episode 50 of the perennial series Tylo and Eeloo. Oh, and apologies for the clickbait, just wanted to see if it works. Some updates. We're gonna build a minmus base today, quickly. Previous episodes I've been talking about how we were going to build a stack of ion-powered probes. The ion technology doesn't complete until 200 days from now, but we have a contract that allows us to use experimental ion engines. What that contract does not allow us to use are experimental xenon tanks. So that was a nice idea, but that's not going to happen. What I did do is I added Kerbin to Eeloo and Tylo, being a child of Joule, launch windows, and in these launch windows I'm definitely intending to send some hardware that way to, well, honor the name of the series. But that happens after many other things. So the heavy lander, some hardware that's actually meant to be the start of a base gets to Eeloo. Some celestial bodies get explored, and we land something on... Well, we land two things on Eeloo actually. So, oh, this is the same thing. Never you mind. What is going to happen this episode? It's going to happen a little bit different from usual. There's lots of things going to happen off screen because I've been reviewing the past, say, 10 episodes, and lots of screen time has been devoted to, well, setting orbits to minmus, landing there, doing stuff, refueling the space station. Oh my god, I'm so tired. So what's going to happen is I'm going to design a modular minmus base. To do this, I'm going to build modules at the orbital shipyard. To do that, I'm going to send supply missions. We are currently at just under 1.5 million credits, and we have 60 days, 58 days to go before this happens. Until this deadline arrives, I'm going to do off-screen the designing of the outpost, the supplying of the space station, the flying to minmus, the trajectory matching, and even most of the landing. And so the beginning of this episode will consist of a quick sequence of landing minmus base modules and connecting them. If in the meantime something horrible is going to happen, say a fiery crash, Kerbal deaths, impending doom problems, I will cut in and all these monumental plans will fade to nothing. But this is the plan. So let's hopefully cut to the first landing module. And for your information, I will record this probably hours from now because all the designing, supplying, building and flying still has to be done. But the next thing you're gonna see is the landing or a calamity. So hang on to your seatbelts and wait for 3 seconds. 2, 1. Right. Calamity has struck. We are not at minmus. This is also not the first base part. This craft is named the Stupid Refueling Robot because this first base part has run out of fuel. Now I've done something rather neat. This is just a big fuel tank with a rocket and a grabber. Speaks for itself. But it's gonna overtake this one. This one is already over halfway there. But this one is gonna meet up with it here and thus be waiting for this one. It will do so by expending more delta V and thus fuel and thus resources, but I think it's cool nonetheless. Public service announcement over. We'll resume with the proper programming, so if this actually works, you'll see a landing base next. See you soon. Alright, checking in again. Still not with the base landing, but I just gotta brag. This refueler robot is in orbit of minmus. The stricken craft with no fuel, okay, a little bit of fuel remaining, is zipping by. This is the intercept. We have 38 meters per second from minmus orbit, and will get within 22 kilometers. Sure, he will have to burn ludicrously to actually get to a rendezvous, but I'm proud of this. This looks good, and I'm gonna do it. Check back soon, in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom! There we are. That's what I meant to say when I said boom. And by saying there we are, that's a prelude of a confession and an apology. Sorry, I skipped a few things because when 10 seconds ago you were watching this video, I was rescuing the base lander. Now we're actually landing the third module. One of the modules being the rescue ship itself. So just to brief you, over there, which is coming up quite closely already, we have the grinder 1. That's the grinder, the No, that's the base lander. We have the grinder 1. We have the Roughnecks grinding station M. That's the mining station, and we have the stupid refueling robot, and that's the rescue ship that we were playing with before. And now we're landing the logistics module, which will make life on and around minmus a lot easier. This has been tested in the orbital shipyard because to build all these things, 2 resupply ships have happened in the interim. Nothing special happened with those, so I felt allowed to, you know, not inform you of them happening. We are now down to, let's see, what's our credits? 0 funds. Surely that's not right. We probably have to visit the space center to trigger that. Anyway, this is meant to be about 1 million. Oh dear, that could be problematic that this is all reading 0. Our contracts are still there, so are these. Well, I'm gonna say we have to do something. Also, I installed an extra mod. It's a science alert. I've seen this on the YouTubes and it's fairly useful. It will flash when I can do science. For now though, we will be landing the base, and there are already a few problems with this base. One of the problems is that we are not heading in the right direction, but we will fix that. And I will share with you a trick. If you look on the nav ball here, you will see the yellow retrograde icon. I'm trying to plaster that retrograde icon on the retrograde target icon, and I can do so by pushing it. And when I say what I mean by pushing is that if my attitude is here, I burn, the retrograde will move away from me. And this works on the same hemisphere. So that's a useful trick to remember. In the same vein, you're pulling your prograde factor. If you burn and this is your attitude and this is your prograde, this is gonna head in that direction, which makes sense. So now we're gonna push this back onto our target marker. There we go. We're now once again headed straight for it. Now you might wonder, why is this deviating? That's of course due to the gravitational effect minmus has. This is altering my trajectory all the time. So back to the problems this base has. These are, including this bit, this is now a 4-part base. Even though the part count is still relatively low, at least comparing it to say the orbital shipyard, I can already feel a tremendous impact in frames per second performance, probably because these are all separate vessels, and more importantly, the frames per second impact is a little bit more significant, because even though we're still running 30 FPS, if it dips down to like 20, landing becomes significantly more hard than docking does. So this is something that will need fixing. It may fix itself, because these flexo tubes, they actually attach rigidly to another one of these stations, so that makes them in effect one ship. Of course the part count will then still be the same. I think it's about time we start to slow down a little bit. We do have to land next to the grinder 1, so this is a good vector to come in on, but maybe 30 meters per second is a little bit fast, so let's try and slow that down a bit. I think 10 is reasonable. Now don't forget, we have to get within like 50 meters for these flexor tubes to actually have a chance of connecting. Now I may have underdone it when I was doing the SAS modules on this ship. Let's switch this to surface. It should be nearly the same as orbit anyway. This is feeling more precarious than I want it to be. Let's see. This is not the best way. Maybe it's best to just set this thing down and then have the grinder base do a hop. And, well, related to the whole FPS thing, it may actually be smart to move this thing, the stupid refuel bot, outside the loaded range, because that way, well, this is just parked here anyway, because that way then this isn't loaded when we're trying to build this base. Anyway, we have set down here, and what I said, I'm gonna try and get that grinder base to get closer. This is just the hub. By the way, the reason this is so Spartan is because the logistics hub is really heavy. It's 15 tons. So you can see we are full of fuel here, also of ore, so that's good. That means we can start reprocessing. The reason I brought the logistics hub is that way you can move stuff between close ships, actually the whole sphere of influence, so not necessarily close, without them actually being hard docked. In the future, all of my parts will have these flexo tubes, so we can actually make one ship out of them, which we're gonna try and do with this thing here. There's no Kerbal in it. We're gonna retract this. Another thing, completely unrelated to this, is that I discovered that these are actually the ground modules and not the space modules. I know, not the most cleverest thing I've ever done. Let's target this. And that using them on a space station mixed with the space station parts causes all kinds of problems. So maybe I've gotta go and disassemble them. Right, I want to target this. Please allow me to target minmus logic. Yeah. Why do I want to target it? So that means I can actually go there. Alright, so let's disengage the dampener, raise anchor. So now we are sort of mobile again. Oh god, it seems to be completely overheating. No! That's fake. How the hell did that happen? Let's see. The integrated module base exploded due to overheating. That has literally never happened before. Certainly not off the bat like this. Is this still functional? This is still somewhat functional. It does mean, if we were to accept this, it does mean we don't have a connector port anymore. Then again, they're just lying over there. I would have to land this. The reason I'm debating accepting it is because it's fairly clearly a bug to me, which would be reason to do a quick load here. You know what? I'm gonna do just that. I wanted to use the flexo tubes. I have quick saved in this landing process. I don't know exactly where. So let's take the opportunity to fly bomb something. Let's try and hit the... Let's try and hit this thing. Oh god. Yeah. Destruction! Chaos! Look at that. Oh, that's neat. Oh, it's crumbling. I don't have a lot of control to go and have a look over there. This thing really doesn't control so well. Oh, let's switch there and just see what the hell happened. Whoa, the carnage is actually pretty brutal. There is stuff everywhere. Alright, let's load the quick save. Where, oh where are we? Right, in the approach of landing. Well, I won't make you watch that again. I'll just do it. And I'll show you the new position in this parallel world. See you in a bit. Right, and there we are, down again. The reason by the way, I said that the base overheating and exploding was a bug, and I'm fairly sure if that is because it happened once or twice immediately upon building when I was testing it. So I felt justified in doing that. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to do some base logistics and decouple those weird nacelles as well. We will do this by using our brand new logistics module. So let's... this is not that. Yeah, here we go. Logistics. This works like this. New transfer. This is going to come from grinder 1, because we're going to take all the fuel out of it. Grinder 1, and it's going to go to the stupid refuel drone, because that's going to need fuel. Right, fill it up, fill it up, fill it up. And this costs 0 transfer cost, probably because they're right next to each other. So initiate the transfer. The way this works... What? Arrival, Nan. That's never happened before. What? Alright. What was supposed to happen is that this stuff was gonna arrive in here. That's not happened now. But it has disappeared from here. So let's uncouple these so they may be recovered by an engineer. At least they can be just gone. Bye. they are now debris. They will be cleaned up by our resident Kerbals soon enough. Let's try another transfer then, shall we? A new transfer. This one from the grinding station to also the stupid probe. Stupid refuel robot. This time I think we can fill it up. No, wait, we're gonna have to be a little bit careful. Oh, I can't hit the 0 because that's my record key. This is the first time I thought about that. Alright, we're just gonna go ahead and be wasteful. Reason I'm saying wasteful is because both of these things are gonna arrive, then some of it is gonna spill, maybe. Alright, let's say now that this is gonna be costed by the source because that has lots of fuel. Initiate transfer. This one takes an hour. That's the way it should be. Let's try and remove this one then, because this is sort of bugged. Let's try that again. We need to know if this is a dependable process. I sure hope it is. Let's say the grinder 1. Yeah, it is gone. Alright, that's a dangerous process to do then. Alright, let's time warp forwards 1 hour and see if it actually will get there. The cool thing about this logistics module is that it works even in... oh, what the hell? That's the radial decoupler crashing into the terrain. Okay, things are very dangerous here. Let's grab a... Holy moly. Let's grab a Kerbal. What I was saying is that the cool thing about this, and this is now transferred, so this is now mining and refining. Slowly, but that doesn't matter. The cool thing is that the logistics hub can transfer also to stuff in orbit. I still am gonna make a new... Oh god. I'm still gonna make a new driller. Holy shit, stop exploding. Oh, stop this base may be shorter lived than I intended it to, which is a shame because I intended it to be quite long lived. I'm still gonna make a new driller that carries a heaping, whopping amount of drills and tanks to store everything in existence. Yeah, go away. Go away. But, you know, scrap it. Scrap it. In the meantime, we can ferry up fuel from the thing I was saying. Oh, we need to scrap it one by one? Ah, come on. Can I scrap it? Alright, screw the scrapping. That's a lot of work now. Instead, go into your Pioneer module and go live there for a bit. That's what I was gonna say. No, and also, I've been out of it for a few days, sorry. First things first, you're gonna connect these two things. And now I have to be careful not to scrap it. Because of course these buttons are right next to each other. And there is no confirmation for the scrapping. So we're gonna link. And hopefully this won't explode because there is a part in between. Let's see, we've had a few explosions already. Clunk. That's a nice sound. Right, look at that. This is a proper space colony already. And this logistics hub has 3 more nodes, so we can attach more cool stuff there. Say a power node. Good thing you asked, because the next thing I built from the orbital shipyard is a landable power node. Oh god. Decapitated Kerbal. Decapitation through solar panel impact, maybe. Alright. No. Oh god. This guy, it's not the most... He's clumsy, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna go and grab the nuclear reactor part. And I'm very happy that I actually just went ahead and built a minmus base in lieu of going immediately to Tylo, because everything would have gone horribly wrong. I mean, with all this stuff and then shipping it from Kerbin to Jewel, no, we're gonna have some practice here and then do all the cool stuff. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab the nuclear power plant, fly it here, and then show you the landing and attaching of that. In the meantime, I will fly away this thing to park it like a few kilometers away. Because is it now full actually? Let's check. Yeah, it is. Cool, that worked. So this will then be parked in the parking lot, which is a few clicks away. So, see you once again in a few more seconds. I'm not going to count down because I did that a few times already. And then probably after that happens, because it will take a few days, we can go ahead and have a look at the base lander. So, well, blink your eyes and I'll be back with the nuclear reactor. And here we are, this is your local delivery boy speaking. I've got one nuclear reactor for delivery at the minmus grinding base. Unfortunately, the SES module was left at home, so we're gonna have to do all the piloting ourselves. We're coming in from an altitude of 110 kilometers and we're slamming straight at the base, which is probably the safe way to land a nuclear reactor, I'm sure. Now, the problems that are going to arise from this, I think that's the base there. The problems that are going to arise from this are pluriform. One, my frame rate is going to tank. Two, the whole base could be irradiated. I think those are enough problems, so that's just the two then. Anyway, what I did, this is a stupid refuel bot, I did that off screen just now. I parked that 5 kilometers away, that's one craft less to worry about for the computer system that's doing this simulation of reality. And after this, assuming the nuclear reactor landing goes according to plan, after this we've got one more launch, one more landing for you. I'm gonna have to do a launch, that's sure, but the episode is gonna have a landing, and that's this module here. That's all I'm gonna say about that for now. It's a little bit of a cryptic name, you can go guessing, and afterwards I'll elaborate on that. One thing I can elaborate on now is that this reactor is for now useless, because it doesn't have any enriched uranium. Of course, I didn't pack any enriched uranium with the space station where this was built, so I'm gonna have to ship that from Earth, from Kerbin, whatever. Problem there is it's hugely expensive. I set up a craft with a simple tank of enriched uranium, and that cost me 1,000,000 credits. That's a bit rich. I could bring over a few drops and nothing more. Well, it would be a few chunks probably, but that's a problem. That will only run the reactor for a short bit. Something else I could do, of course, is to try and mine the uranium here, which is interesting, but I think I require a bit more tech to properly refine that then. So that's for the future. For that future in which we can hypothetically mine uranium from minmus, that would also immediately solve our money problems, because then we would mine and refine uranium, ship that to Kerbin, and sell it. No more silly contracts, and we can get on with, well, what we want to do here, which is colonize all of space. First though, we want to not crash. We are now gonna select a landing site. It will be close to the grinder one, because then we can connect these two things together. So we're going to try and maintain altitude a little bit, and well, come down somewhere on the far side of the mining operation, hopefully. And oh wait, no, the hub is the logistics hub, aptly titled. So we're gonna have to be on that side of things, which we are now sort of doing. Let's stop. We're now sort of stationary. Let's give it a squirt that way, and then turn around. Yeah, this is a good landing site. Stop. Right, let's not land quite immediately on top of everything. I think, yeah, I want to go here where I'm falling now. This is a good spot. Let's see, try and spot that. Yeah, I think that's about as close as we can safely get. I'm getting the hang of this finally. Whoa, if this works out, I'm really happy. Look at that, I'm really happy. Wait, we need to do a little hop further because, well, this docking port is taken. So that doesn't work. We need to go on this side. Oh my, the control. We need to rotate a little bit now. And now I'm gonna screw it all up because I'm rotating like crazy. Come on. Fortunately, I've got really strong reaction wheels. Oh my god, I'm pretty sure no landing ever is gonna top that. Whoa, look at that, I can even rotate it whilst on the ground. Well, here we are, down on the planet surface. And I think what we can do now is... No, the engine is sticking out from under this landing frame. I was gonna say I think I can retract these pods to get this a little bit to equal level, but no. For now though, what we're gonna have to do is connect these things up, and then we have built a functioning component of the base. So what do we have now? We have a functioning ore mining setup, a non-functioning Kerbal, a functioning Kerbal, a somewhat functioning agriculture hub. I think that works at any rate. It looks pretty. We have a logistics base and we have power without fuel, but we only need to add uranium. So what do we need from here on? We need miners, more than this one. We need to mine uranium, we need to mine metal, we need to mine everything. And we need a... Oh, not scrap the part. This is super dangerous. Blink. We need a workshop to manufacture rocket parts, and with those rocket parts we need a launch pad to launch that from. That is, incidentally, oh, oops, no. Let's try and land on there, and then we can hit link at leisure. Link. Hooray! Our base has been established. Immediately 6 frames per second additional boost. No worries. What I was saying is we need a launch pad to launch our newly built rockets from minmus as soon as we get the mining component of this base operational. And of course, after the mining we also need a workshop and a big fuel depot, because this is too much transferring every time. Every time we need some fuel moved, we're gonna have to move it. Oh, that made no sense. I want a bigger depot. I want a big, flat, pancakey mining operation with many tanks and a refinery, and that can perform a lot of functions without transference. This one is nice to start with, but it's too small. So, because that thing will be large and unwieldy, I don't want to build it somewhere else than here. It doesn't have to go... It shouldn't fly anywhere, is what I'm trying to say. So, to do that properly... we shall need... Oh wait. These drills need to be on. Start harvesting. To do that, we will need to have production facilities here on minmus. And of course, as I already mentioned, that's where this comes in. Yeah, we can leave here. Goodbye. Let's jump to the orbital shipyard, which will see its relevance reduced as soon as we have a functioning mining outpost on minmus, obviously. Let's see, do we have any fuel here? We have some fuel here. Of course, all the resupplies that happened to make this base operational, well, no, to construct all these minmus base parts, they have also delivered a lot of water to the station here. So we've been refining fuel all this time, and it's a good thing we have, because, well, gee, this thing is gonna require a lot of fuel. Oh god! What the hell happened there? Everything exploded. Just literally everything. Are we gonna say that doesn't count? I think we are. Let's try a quick load. Alright, rewind. Let's try that again. Just see if that was a simple bug. I just saw I didn't do the connecting yet. Well, I'll do that off screen. Alright, we have our shipyard here. We have our mystery thing. Can we try this? Oh, this time not everything exploded, but still lots of things exploded. This is still not really a nice result. Yeah, you know what? I don't quite know how to fix that. Let's just try it again. If that doesn't work, I'm gonna have to come up with something else. Because the thing I think is happening is this is a fairly wide thing. Is it's clipping into the shipyard as it's spawning, and that makes everything be horrible. Can I close this and still use the UI? So that would maybe fix it. Yes! See, this doesn't fit otherwise. So, happily that worked. Yeah, we can safely rule that the engineers will have thought of that before deploying. Right, we need to put lots of stuff in. Lots of fuel. We're not going to bring any rocket parts because, well, that's heavy. We can just send it on its way. And look at it. It's really weird, isn't it? It's got 4 engines here, lots of tanks, supplies, linkages, everything. It flies the way it looks, horribly. But I will take it to Minmus, we will land it near the base, and then you'll see what it's for. And it's for greatness. This will no doubt be horrible. If funny things happen, I will show you, and otherwise I'll see you on approach. Ciao. And here we are, with the launch pad approaching Minmus. We came in fairly high, so we have a few maneuverings to do before getting ready to land. Delta V wise not a problem, but time wise this is going to take another day, and in 3 hours this base lander, which has been en route to Eeloo for years now, is going to need some action. So let's visit that instead and see how that is doing. Now this ship hasn't been loaded in I think about 20 episodes or something ridiculous like that. So let's do a systems check. We have some machinery because back then we had no idea what this was. We have no recyclables because nothing's been used. We have some power, actually with all the power in the world. That's good. Why do we have so much power? Is there a solar panel on this or something? Oh yeah, lots of solar panels. We have engines, we have fuel, we have a pioneer module, which of course is not going to do anything. We have two fuel canisters and landers. This seems fairly basic. Seems like something we can work with. And look at that, this is incredibly far away from the sun. Farther out than even Joule is, apparently. Hey, and what's this? The heavy lander. This is also getting to Eeloo, but that's going to get there before this one. Because look at that, this is a little bit more efficient trajectory maybe. We are, on the other hand, going to alter our trajectory so we get to Eeloo in about another year. At least, let's attempt to do just that. Let's see, where is this thing going then? How do we steer to make this intersect happen? Now don't forget, Eeloo is veritably tiny. We are going to get within 300,000 kilometers here, and that's apparently still not good enough to get inside the actual sphere of influence. But this is. We'll get a periapsis of 42,000 kilometers. That's great. And it says we're going to do this burn in 2 days. Actually, can I even turn this ship? No, I'm going to need to fire the engine to turn. I made the maneuver note for in 2 days, but there's no way you're going to convince me that this is going to matter. So I'm going to light the engine and just gently steer in that direction and see if we can make this encounter actually happen from here. Now this is 40 meters per second. Let's see. Let's just ditch the maneuver node altogether and see where this is going. We are approaching. Seems nice. Yeah, we've got an encounter. Let's now make this as low as we can get away with. 38, 37, 35. That number is now rising again. Let's stop it. And that's almost in exactly another year. A year and 3 hours. Wow. Well, that's space program management for you then. We can remove this alarm. We'll instead add a new alarm. A sphere of influence change. Arrival. Hurrah. Where is that then? This is like the second last thing to happen. Of course, before the voodoo scanner gets there, which is taking this ludicrous path. That was one of the first artifacts of our space program. Instead, before this will even get there, there will be 2 bases landed. So the firmware here was programmed when Eeloo was deserted, but when it gets to do its scan, it will have a base on it. I like that. Never mind, it was my incompetence that launched it this way in the first place. Right, that's that. Let's proceed with the launch pad on minmus. Actually, I've reached a decision as well about something else. Now here, 50 episodes in, we can make some observations about the feasibility of the colonizing Tylo thing. It's really hard. If we're gonna have to launch everything from Kerbin, that's never gonna happen. So what we need is a mobile colonization construction fleet. And not just a fleet. We're gonna grab an asteroid, which we can't even scan for as of now. We're gonna grab an asteroid. We're gonna build a base on the asteroid, or rather clamp it to it. A base that's capable of supporting Kerbals, mining resources, and crucially cranking out ships. Then we're gonna fly that base to the sun to fuel it with carborundorum or whatever. First we'll have to fly pilot missions that will check if that's feasible to get this close to the sun without burning. If that's feasible, we'll charge the asteroid with fusion fuel and then boost it to Joule. We will do this by leveraging our minmus launch base and the orbital shipyard to launch said probes cheaply and efficiently to do this research. That's gonna happen. Maybe. Right, for now let's try and get this launch pad in order. This flies like a drunken walrus, but it does fly. It is also almost out of fuel. Now, oh damn it, we're going way too fast. Are we now crashing? Actually no. We're still in something that's resembling an orbit. We are still headed towards periapsis, and we are still not going anywhere near the proper base. Let's try and fix that. Actually, let's just not bother. Actually, let's just get into a low orbit and then we can fix things with a low throughput time. Is this thing still in the sun? Yes, it is. We'll get into low orbit and then just get there, just land on it and get it over with. Yeah, this shouldn't take too long. Anyway, we are about to run out of fuel. Maybe not actually. But if we were to run out of fuel, that wouldn't even matter, because guess what? We've got a fuel refinery down on the surface with a mobile delivery system. We can logistics this thing. We can logistic the shit out of it. Paraphrase quoting from The Martian where Matt Damon says, "We gotta science the shit out of this," or I am getting carried away here. I like the film, go see it. Also read the book if that's your thing. I did that too. It's wonderful. For now, we've got a launch pad to land. Isn't that a sentence you get to say every day? We've got a launch pad to land. We are now also flying really close to minmus, and I'm completely trusting one of my viewers, Fifth Horseman. Go check out his channel as well. He comments on almost all these videos, and he told me 8 kilometers is a safe orbital altitude everywhere. So of course, we now just gonna fly through the dark at 10 kilometers, blindly thrusting that. If this now explodes into a mountain, I'm coming for you. Great. So here we go. We are coming out of the shadows soon, I think. Yeah. And the next thing that's going to happen in the macro time scale is that we're going to get to explore Gilly, which is good because that will make us more money, because we only got 1 million. But we're going to have to upgrade our stuff soon because we want to go grab an asteroid. Also, we got to do some space station remodeling, which probably isn't going to be cheap because the well, I discovered the modules don't play nice. That needs explanation. Not just the modules, the ground-based modules and the orbital modules, I mixed them on the space station, and the internet told me that's not something you should do. I'm babbling because I don't want to land in the dark, and I would preferably get into an orbit that allows me to land easily. So I'm going to change... What happened? I'm going to change the orbit to be more or less concurrent with the base, more or less over the base. Then I will time warp until the base is in the sunlight. And then we'll see what happens next. This will probably be the last addition to the base for this episode. Then once this is safely landed or has crashed and burned, I'm going to outline some things for the future, because this is actually going to be the last episode of Tylo and Eeloo. Now, me talking about lots... Wait. Hang on. First the landing, then the exposition. Don't worry, everything is going to continue. I'm just going to rebrand it. Well, that was the explanation. Right, landing the launch pad. Here we go. This is now in a safe orbit. Let's switch to our wonderful, wonderful grinding station. Let's check to see if it is actually grinding. Well, it won't, because it's running on solar power, because we don't got the uranium yet. Yeah, time warping it up. Here we go. How long does that night actually take? Let's count. That's 1 day. It's just more or less a day. That's a lot shorter than I actually thought. Alright, that's great. Let's switch to the launcher. The landing launch... I'm just gonna call it the thing from now on, because I'm getting my tongue tied over saying landing the launch pad, launching the launcher. Glurgy. That last thing was definitely a word. What's our apoapsis? 35 kilometers? Yeah, we'll come down more or less straight. That gives us lots of time to pinpoint our landing site, because, well, we're gonna need the time, because this thing only controls in what's basically 2 axes. Because it's a lot wider than it's tall, it's really hard to properly control it if you want to, well, rotate it around the wrong axis. Now, that's not definitely a problem, but it is definitely a thing to take into account. Something else to take into account is our fuel, but we should be good, I think. I could send up a transporter with some fuel. But then again, if it's almost empty like it is now, it will handle better. We don't have the option of sending it fuel at the last second, because it takes an hour. Although I could probably send it on a trajectory up and down, which takes an hour, with the last squirts of fuel. So yeah, here's the abort plan. If we are in danger of running out of fuel, we will launch the... Holy schmoly, we need to modify this burn. If we are in danger of running out of fuel, we will burn all the fuel. That sounds like a plan, doesn't it? We will burn all the fuel straight up and immediately send fuel drones after it. Yeah, I think that sounds perfectly fine. For now though, let's get rid of this orbital velocity and go for landing. Let's see how this computes. Some time warping here. This is like almost the last component. Hold it. We want to go here. So now we're gonna do that thing where we push around the descent vector and also decelerate a bit. Now, as you can see, we have four of the flexible connectors, which should be pointed somewhat in the direction of the existing base, so we can connect it to that, which is sort of necessary. Actually, it's not necessary, but it's nicer, because we have, with this launch pad, we have 2 canisters of rocket parts. What? Oh yeah, these are the small ones. And that's the point. We can only store about 3,000 rocket parts in this. And that's not enough for the nicer thing. So we're going to link this to something that still has to be built, the massive mining and storage depository, where we can then put all the rocket parts and fuel depots and things to put on the rockets that are going to be built here. So hence the connectors. You will notice this has a massive excess of oxidizer. That's because I wasn't careful enough in fitting it out at the orbital shipyard. Right. Need to get this retrograde marker on the base. Yeah, once again we're headed straight for the base. Unfortunately, you may have noticed this thing doesn't have any landing legs. But tanks are sturdy, right? The base here is really wide. Fuel tanks are sturdy, at least that's what someone told me. And I hope I can set down gently on said fuel tanks. And that's the extent of the plan here. We're passing over the stupid refuel bot here. And let's see if we can push this stupid indicator a little bit over the base, because the gravity of minmus is doing a number on us. Yeah, here we go. Come on, a little bit upwards. We want to overshoot, because then we can stop and correct, rather than constantly boost and correct. We are now between the parking lot and the base, and this is, you could say, the purpose of the base, so it's fairly important to get this right. Yeah, more steering. 5 more kilometers to go. And this is, I think maybe this is tenser for me than it is for you, because, well, the controlling of this thing is horrible. It does have SAS, it also has like 4 big reaction wheels. Are we good on the power? We are good on the power. Yeah, we have only 2 small solar panels, but we have enough of a reserve to, well, to keep on steering as much as we want. Alright. More thrust. Approaching the base. I've said that a million times, but hey, it's still true. We're doing so at about 33 meters per second, 34 meters per second, which is about 60 miles an hour. 70 maybe. It's about 120 kilometers is what I'm trying to say. Stop doing conversions from meters per second to kilometers per hour to miles per hour. There's bound to be some inaccuracies in that. Alright. We're about to hit the frame rate wall, which is my fancy term for the base itself. Let's see if we can angle this thing correctly. I mean, if I only have to do up down, I will be happy. No, there's really no way of controlling it. Here's the thing: we're not going to try and control it too much. We will just get it on the ground close to the base, and then either try and make a hop, or we can have a relay station. Say if we get 100 meters away, we won't be able to make the connection happen, but we can of course pop out like a really small thing that has 2 connectors and thus can connect something. This is an option. Also, it definitely doesn't help that my fuel tanks aren't perfectly balanced. It would be nicer if they were perfectly balanced, but hey, can't have everything. Right, time for more steering. During this approach, so yeah, what I was saying, I was expressly stating not to do too much news in during these bits, because that's a liability to crash. Right. A kilometer to go. Let's see. Oh, we're drifting so bad. I hope these things are actually as strong as advertised. We're actually going up now. Cool. Oh, no, not that much control. We're now, I think, slated to sail over the base. Oh god, we're upside down. Do we have RCS? No, we have RCS fuel, but we don't have any actual RCS things. Right, we have our 3-part base there. We're right on course for, I think, what is the hub, the logistics hub, obviously, but also the connector hub. This is going well. This is going well. 400 meters to go. This is not going well. Because every time I do a boost, I don't do it completely vertical. I'm always slowing down a little bit. So now here's an altitude boost with a component towards the base. So now we're approaching a little bit faster again. Alright. 270 meters. This is going well, I think. We're like upside down and we're 200 meters from the surface, not anything more. Yeah, we definitely need to boost a little bit here. Yeah, we're approaching. And now we need to stop. Come on. Turn around. It doesn't want to turn around. No, this is the wrong direction. This is the right direction. Blast it! Alright, now we're actually upside down. This is not good. This is not good. We are going down. Lock attitude this way. Fire rockets. Yes. We are now headed straight for that power grinder. Okay, now we can just wobble it about this way. Go a little bit faster that way. Yes, I feel like we're on something resembling an approach. Oh god, that may have been overdoing it. Alright, here we go. We're almost over it. Stop! Yes. And now we need to turn the difficult direction. Yes, completely stopping. Now just turning it towards the ground. Yes! This is gonna happen. All I want now is a little bit of rotation. Is that too much to ask? Maybe. But we are doing it. We need to go a little bit more this way now. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Yes! Closer now, just a bit. No, the other way. I'm getting my controls inverted. No. No, I felt that was a little bit too radical. And when I said radical, I meant radial. Okay, so now we are going up. That was really close to the ground, like half a meter. But I wasn't comfortable. Now I'm going to keep it aiming straight retrograde. Because obviously we cannot do too much complicated movement. Oh god, this is going to be such a good revelation as soon as we actually get there. I think we'll land closer than 50 meters here, even with the docking ports angled the correct way even. Yes. Yes. Here we are, we're coming straight down. Pretty good. Let's try an impact of less than a meter per second, because, well, we are going to land straight on some tank bellies. Speaking of bellies, here's an interesting tidbit. Pork bellies are exchange traded. And with that, we have landed and we are close. Oh my god, we can connect to the power grinder and the thing. Yes. But first, let us deploy. Look at this. This is one of the cooler animations, I think, even though it all clips through one another. And I built the thing to fit. Here we go, a launch pad. Look at that. Let's disengage the engines now, because they are superfluous. And if we ever get recycling tanks, we can attach them, or we can recycle them. Shut down engine. Hell to the yeah. And let's attach our base together. I'm gonna throw in a quick save because I've heard that these attacher points can be a little bit buggy. And, well, we've already established bugs are not gonna get in the way of our interstellar empire. Hell to the no. Look at that. I think this is a good episode because we have built something. We've actually built something. By the way, I spent about a week doing this episode because it was quite the effort to fly all these things here. But it was a cool week. Right, attaching this to the power grinder. Oh yeah, what I was saying when I was in orbit is that this is the last episode of Tylo and Eeloo. This series is going to continue as Kerbal Space Colonization. Nothing substantial will change. Just the titling, the numbering will also go back to 1 because, as you may have noticed, no one bloody watches these videos. And maybe it's because they're called Tylo and Eeloo and nobody knows what the hell is going on. Just a thought, because I did series before that said like KSP to Mars, a little bit more speaking to the imagination, and that had a few hundred viewers per episode. And you guys are the same people because you're subscribed. I don't know what's up. Maybe I'm just getting a lot more horrible at this, or the subject matter just isn't too appealing. Anyway, I'm having fun doing this, so I'll certainly keep working on the asteroid colonizer and all that good stuff, but we'll call it different, have a different picture, new form thread, all those things. And so yeah, 50th episode of Tylo and Eeloo. The destination of Kerbal Space Colonization will still be the Joule system, but we'll start fresh with episode 1, where we'll investigate our existing infrastructure, which will be this, and we'll outline plans for the asteroid mission, the preliminary bases, all the same basically. I am loving this. Let's see, we have a lot of fuel here. Let's see if this even works. We have our Kerbal, he can live in this, and this is now I think technically the same vessel as the launch pad. So this guy should be able to construct ships, although I don't think he's got the requisite 3 stars. So we may have to either get Kenlin here from the orbital shipyard, or we're not gonna scrap the part, or get some trained Kerbals, or train this guy somehow. Speaking of training, before leaving this final episode, I'm loving the way this base is taking form. Show UI. Yes, we can build stuff here. Cool. And this is also a new hub because hey, we can land big miners and parts and stuff here, and then this will be the center of our base. Yes, I like it. Speaking of stars, let's get to the map. Let's find the Kerbin. Oh, I went past it. Kerbin. Let's find our second space station, the Science Base Omega. Let's actually switch there. We haven't been there in a while. Science Base Omega. And last time I checked, this had a Kerbal Academy. Oh, what? It does stuff now. Rodgar Kerman trained to level 1 scientist. Because Leaf is that? Yeah, so we're gonna have to at some point we're gonna have to load this up with Kerbals and get our top engineer there. And I'll also ask the internet how the hell this thing works. Otherwise, are they still fine? They have supplies, they have power, a little bit. And their aeroponics base and stuff are working. Yeah? looks good here. So that's episode 50 of Tylo and Eeloo. See you at episode 1 of Kerbal Space Colonization. And have a nice week. I'll probably see you next weekend, because the schedule is sort of gonna be like Wednesday and the weekend. But as always, don't hold me to it. Love y'all. I'm Lorenzo. See you. Goodbye. Boom.